AITA for telling my stepson to blame his mom because he didn't get to go to his dad's funeral? My late husband, William, had 2 children from 2 previous relationships. Alyssa, who's now 30, was from his first marriage. His first wife died when Alyssa was 5. A few years later, he had Logan, who's now 22, with his then-girlfriend, Brenda. It was a very short-lived relationship. By the time I married William, Brenda had moved Logan to London, where she was originally from. Logan would fly out to visit a couple of times a year, with William and I going over there as well. We were never super close given the distance. Alyssa and I did build a bond as we lived together full-time, and I ended up adopting her. William and I also had 2 children together. When Logan was 13 and Alyssa was 21, William was diagnosed with cancer. He deteriorated quickly. We both tried to pay for Logan to come out to say goodbye, but Brenda kept saying it wasn't a good time. Unfortunately, William passed before he could see his son one last time. William's request was to be cremated and have the ashes spread at the end of his favorite trail. Once again, I insisted on paying for Brenda and Logan to come back to the States. Brenda kept putting it off, first saying she didn't want to disrupt the school year. But when summer came, she found excuse after excuse. Soon, it was nearly a year and there had been no celebration of life. Myself, Alyssa, my other 2 kids and the rest of William's family felt as though it wasn't fair to anyone. Finally, I gave Brenda a list of dates and told her to pick one. She did, but when it came time to actually booking tickets, she refused. When I said I'd pay, she suddenly found another excuse, unable to wait any longer. We held the celebration of life. It was a beautiful day that I'll never forget. It finally helped me begin my grieving journey. Brenda was pissed and after this, cut contact. Alyssa tried making arrangements to visit, but Brenda wouldn't let her. Finally, when Logan was 18, he reached out to her and they rebuilt a relationship. Through her, he's also began talking to his other 2 siblings. Alyssa's visited him a few times. Last week, Logan came to the States. He was happy to see his younger siblings but was very standoffish with me. At one point, Alyssa and the kids took Logan to the trail. When they returned, all of them were understandably emotional. I was comforting Alyssa when Logan snapped. He said it wasn't fair I held the celebration without him and that he missed his dad's funeral. He started screaming at me that I was selfish not to wait. I told him that I understand why he's upset, but his mother is to blame. She's the one who refused to let him come out. Were we not supposed to have a funeral for 9 years? Logan got even more upset and left the house, getting a hotel. Alyssa agrees we did nothing wrong by holding the service when we did, but thinks I should have just let Logan vent versus blaming his mom. AITA? What other choice did you have? Lying to him and apologizing for something you didn't do? He's an adult now and this is a conversation he needs to be having with his mother, and you've just facilitated that, enabling it to take place. And not before time. NTA. It is time for you to have a hardcore conversation with Logan and pull out all of the receipts on his mother. You went above and beyond and did everything you could to include not only Logan but also Brenda. She does not get to lie to you and have Logan hate you for her childishness. It would also be helpful to have family members on your husband's side back you up. Never allow people to tarnish your name and make you look bad when that could be further from the truth. TBH. He's an adult. I would send him all the messages you sent Brenda regarding a final visit and the scattering of ashes. Your offers to pay. With a message. Me and your dad did everything we could to fly you out for one final visit. And I fought for a year to have you here for the scattering of ashes. Eventually it became obvious your mother wasn't going to permit it, and I made the difficult decision not to continue delaying everyone else's grief indefinitely. You need to take this up with your mother because I did everything in my power to try and make sure, at the very least, you could be here for Ashes after you didn't get to see him for the last time. He's 22. He deserves to know the truth. NTA. NTA. Maybe things could have been said differently in a more compassionate way. But no way I am taking the heat for Brenda when she clearly kept putting it off for her son to go. There. This guy also isn't going to make me feel awkward in my own home, so I'd be glad he got the hotel room. I feel for him not being able to be there, but hey, you and everyone who was present clearly needed that too. Maybe while he's there you can plan something to celebrate his life and have Logan take part. Go to husband's favorite place to be or place to eat. Do all his favorite things that Logan remembers doing with him maybe. NTA. Honesty is always the best policy with this type of thing. He will vent some more. But next time hopefully it will be at his mom. If you still have emails and texts proving this, forward them to him. NTA. As tough as this is, it is his mother's fault and not yours. It is not fair that he says it is your fault and screams at you. NTA. I'm sorry, it's terrible that Logan lost his dad at 13. But let's not minimize what you lost as well. You lost your husband and the father of your children. And you were still trying to ensure that Logan was present. I honestly believe that keeping secrets and not telling the truth in situations like this is not smart. It's the truth. If Logan has an issue, it needs to be directed to his mom because she is the cause of this. NTA. What happened is not your fault. If Logan wants to blame anyone at his mother, he needs to know this or he will forever hold it against you. Oh, this is a horrible situation. I'm sorry for your loss and for the fallout with your children and their sibling. NTA. It's difficult, but as long as you recognize and are supportive of Logan's emotions, the right thing to do is to tell the truth. As long as you're only explaining and not criticizing Brenda, you're not doing anything wrong. ETA. And I don't think being critical of Brenda's decisions in a different situation would be unreasonable. But not to Logan. And definitely not now. Did he not have this conversation with Alyssa? She was old enough to know exactly what went down. Sorry for your loss. You could share this link with Logan. His mother played a stupid game and sadly Logan lost the chance to be there. NTA. It was his mother's decision to not let him come, and you shouldn't get yelled at for something that was out of your control. NTA. Perhaps Brenda told Logan very doctored reasons why he couldn't travel. NTA. It was his mother's decision to not let him attend. As a parent, it is her right to dictate where her underage son goes. But she needs to stand on that and be honest with him. Your daughter probably only said you shouldn't blame his mom because she's his only parent he has left. But continuing to lie to him isn't a good idea. He deserves to know. Either have a sit-down conversation with him or send an email showing proof you asked for him to attend and his mom said no. You can only tell him what happened on your end. If his mother has a real reason for him not attend his father's last moments or his funeral, she can provide that information to him. NTA. The truth is that his mother is controlling and didn't want him to go to the funeral. Yo definitely did the right thing. When he cools down, sit him down and tell him what you told us. She's probably done her best to gaslight him into believing that she tried her best for him to visit for funeral and that you ruined it for him. NTA. As you tried multiple times and ways to involve Logan. But I think a clear the air talk may be necessary. Depending on what story version of things Lone has been told by his mother so far. He may not have the complete picture of all the efforts you made and offers to Brenda. Obviously you can give him a bit of grace for his grief, but only to a point, as it's not fair to place all blame on you. NTA. He needs to know that the only person who was a problem was his mom. You couldn't force her to send him, and if she was going to be petty and selfish, at some point that will bite her in the ass. But you don't need to permanently be the bad guy to help her out. NTA. He needs to know the truth. If you have any old emails or texts to show him, that would help. As much as he might hate his mom afterwards, he can't go through life not knowing the truth. He needs his siblings in his life. That can only happen if he knows the truth, otherwise there'll always be a certain amount of distrust with them. NTA. Very sorry for your loss. NTA. And I'm not with everyone saying you should have been more gentle. He is a grown man and knows how his mom is, and if he didn't, it was time someone stop enabling her and be honest with him. Thank you for being that person. You do not deserve any venom your way from anyone, including the other kids. If they have issues, then please explain to them that someday they'll probably get a chance to understand when they're faced with a decision so difficult another person makes it even harder. Wrapping you in love. Mom, you did everything correctly.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.